on the time and give you maybe 10 or 11, since it's September 11th. This was exactly 23 years ago, was it? Because it was 2001. But I think it's important for us to remember this. This is part of why I do my free service to the Sheriff's Department. September 11th is a day of service. Give something back. I'm always saying you can go donate blood, you can do animal shelter stuff, you can do Habitat for Humanity. There's so many different volunteer organizations. I can make a list of them if people want to do that, because as you get older in high school, you're going to have to do community service hours to graduate. Okay, I've had students come up here and help with my class and say, can I count this as community service hours? And I'm sure, that's totally fine. But I'm going to tell you a little bit about the day as I remember it, as good as I can remember it, because I don't want it to be forgotten. I was the head football coach back then, 2001, and I got up, we were doing morning practice, and I was just sitting here thinking, why were we doing morning practice on a Tuesday, September 11th? And as good as I can remember, I believe we were having an open house or barbecue or something after school, and there was something going on after school, so I said, we'll do morning practice. I got here, I drove up, and on the way driving here, I heard on the radio about a airliner hitting World Trade Center Tower 1, and they were talking about, I switched the channels and thought, are they talking about a movie or something? What is going on here? It just seems surreal. I switched the channel and they were talking about it on all the different radio channels. And I got up here to practice, and I pulled up over by the football field. I asked my assistant coaches, I said, you guys hear something about 2 airplanes hitting like World Trade Center Tower 1, Tower 2? And you can see by the poster over there how those stand up, the New York City skyline. I don't remember the height of the old towers, but I do know the new tower is 1,776 feet tall, 1776, because that's the year that our country became a nation. Anyways, they said they hadn't heard anything, and I remember one of them saying, I think you're dreaming, man. That's that's not real. I said, I'm going to run over, you guys get football practice started. I'm going to run over to the room here, which this room here was still under construction. This used to be a storage room, and we came in and made this storage room into a classroom, and this is when we were still going through the construction of that. By storage room, I mean this was just concrete floor. There were no wall back there. This was all storage, food storage and everything. And when we made it into a classroom, we put a wall back there separating the cafeteria's food storage from our storage room, put a drop ceiling in and cabinets. But we did have the big TV in here. So I came in here, I turned the big TV on, and on all the channels it was talking about September 11th. I went out there and told the other coaches, I said, we're probably going to war. We're probably going to be at war with this, because it was us against Al-Qaeda. And anyways, it was the start of the war back then. Long story short, it changed things forever. It's like I would say the 2 biggest impacts I've had in my life have been September 11th and COVID, when that came along and all that. So, that I can say that things, and you think about it and think, September 11th was about 3,000 people killed. They say it was like one of the top 3 man-made disasters, like not a national disaster, but it's up there with Pearl Harbor. That was around the same amount of number when the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor, and the Johnstone Dam giving out back in the late 1800s. So it was, it was big. But when they did this, as a pilot, I was very interested in it because I thought, how did they get on the planes? They chose 3 airplanes that were all going cross country from East Coast to West Coast because the fuel was the bomb. Okay, that was the bomb in the plane. So they wanted planes that had a lot of fuel in them. They wanted planes that were all leaving at the same time. And the only way they were able to the one that crashed in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, that one, it was delayed. So people were able to talk and go, hey, these hijackers are telling you that they're going to let you go and everything if you just behave and don't try to do anything. And I believe there was someone that got on, was able to get on either a cell phone or satellite phone, or maybe it was the air phone in the plane. Used to be planes had phones, and it was a big deal to where you could talk, and then they did away with that. So anyways, in 2020, it was actually during COVID, I visited the sites of the planes where they had crashed at the Pentagon, and then we went to New York City. Couldn't go in that one because of COVID. Shanksville, Pennsylvania, we did go there, and they were letting people in the memorial. That's the one that crashed in the field there, where they basically overtook the plane. It was the one that was delayed, and to go through that memorial and see that, just a small town out there in Pennsylvania, those guys overtook it, and they say that was like the first, how should I say, the first win in the war on terrorism. And when those guys took over that plane and they voted on it, said, I think we should do something about it. What do you think? And these terrorists are saying, no, if you try to do anything, we got a bomb, we'll blow up the plane. And these guys said, no, they're going after another target, which was probably the White House or some other Washington, D.C. is what they're thinking by the route. So anyways, I wanted to kind of share that because I go, can't forget about this. It used to be I could talk to the students and they go, I remember exactly where I was September 11th. And then as time went on, I had parents going, my parents knew where they were at, but I didn't really know where I was at, because it was after, they were born after that time. But, there's lessons to be learned. If you look at this and think the safety of planes now is so much safer, where the cockpits are all locked up. It used to be you could go in and say, hey, can I sit up here in the cockpit? And you could go up there and visit with the pilots and stuff. That's all locked down now. It is the only time in the history of, even during COVID, where all airplanes have been grounded. Where you can look at all the airplanes and they had them all grounded. I'm going to stop right there. Good idea. And that is it. Then we'll watch CNN 10 America.